Let's do a fun and easy sketchbook exercise that's inspired by something that often we think of as ordinary, but it's one of those things where if you look really close, it can be really beautiful. I'm going to start by taping off a grid pattern in my notebook using some thin washi tape. If you don't have thin washi tape like this, you can use something like a resist, so masking fluid, a wax crayon, or even some sort of acrylic paint that you let dry before doing the next steps. Once you've completed your grid, we're going to want to grab our watercolors and give them a spritz. The inspiration for this is tile, and tile comes in all sorts of patterns, so you can do whatever you want, but the key is going to be whatever you do to one, you want to do to each of them. I want to start with some wet on wet effects, so I'm actually going to wet a few of these squares so that they're ready to go. As I move across this, I might need to work in larger or smaller sections depending on how it behaves. I'm going to fill up my brush with a nice blue color, and I'm just going to make a little stroke in the corner on all of these ones that I've pre-wet. You know what? I think I'm actually going to do the same thing to all of the corners. Anytime I make a decision for one of them, it's going to go for all of them. So I'm going to wash my brush and I'm going to fill it with a lighter blue color. And while these are still wet, I'm just going to kind of swirl around and drop it in the center. I am noticing that working with so many at once is kind of hard to manage the wetness. So I think for the ones going forward, I'm only going to wet one row at a time. The look I'm going for are repeating pattern tiles, but handmade. So that means that if there's a little variation, it's okay. You're gonna repeat this across the page until you've filled the whole thing up. Then we need to let this dry or make it dry. Once everything is dry, we're gonna fill our brush up with a different blue color or whatever color you want to do. I'm gonna use a brighter blue, and I'm gonna take advantage of the shape of my brush to make my middle shapes that are more defined. I'm gonna take my brush and angle it in from one corner, and I'm going to touch to the center and just press. It's going to make kind of a little petal shape. I'm going to do that on every single one. Again, anything we do on one, we're doing on all of them. Then I'm going to rotate my page 90 degrees and then do the same thing to the other corner using the same angle I used previously. When I'm painting, I like to move my page around a lot because there are certain angles that it's more comfortable to paint from, so I might as well take advantage of that. Again, rotate my page 90 degrees and repeat. I'm going to rotate my page one more time, and again, make those little marks. Once your tiles are completed, let it dry or make it dry. Removing the tape is what's going to really make this look like tile because it's kind of like the grout lines. This can be done with so many different types of patterns, and I think it's really interesting that no matter what you choose, as long as you repeat it on each one, it'll end up looking like tile.